KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis volume 50. Again, we're just going to be giving a quick run through of all of our charts and give you a quick insight for next week. So let's take a look at NZDUSD because we're going to be taking gold and Euro USD tomorrow, just a bit more in depth, just to see how things are rolling with those two pairs. But without further ado, we are looking at pretty much a consolidation phase, and what we've seen is price broke out of our top level zone, which we were speaking of last week. So what I'm looking out for now is a continuation play, which we kind of explained last week, but not necessarily meaning that price is going to definitely retest at this zone on the top. So let's go ahead and clear all these levels, and we can start to think about the new direction of the market. So as price is now stepping up, I am looking at this in a bit more of a bullish scenario, just for that one time, just for this one more move up. And the reason why I'm saying one more move is because this point in the market here, where it's a huge drop off, for me indicates that there is potential sellers in the market. It's just waiting now for the right time to get in. So the momentum is clearly here. Again, now if we could see price do something where it continues to step up and then breaks, I wouldn't be surprised if this was to happen. We'll move this target zone here, and this level in the market could be respected, so that if we do break this low in the market, we should be definitely moving to the downside. So if we do that, that might be a bit more easier just to see on the eye. But anyway, this level in the market that we've made, this current high from last week, we can use this as a temporary short-term target if we are looking for the buys to the upside. Now again, it's totally up to you if you are bullish in this pair, if you want to hold on to this. This is a good type of setup that you can look to take a buy opportunity between the point in the market now to this low. And if price does turn around, you can obviously hold this up until this level in the market. Of course, if you are bullish on this, then it's totally up to you if you want to continue holding it, and if you expect price to do something like this, etc. But for me, I'm looking at how price reacts first to this point in the market here, because I am thinking that price could have a turnaround and could reject off of 0.75. So it's kind of nicely lining up with all the levels, etc. So I think that price could do something in this nature, where price has this turnaround here between this low, and price pushes up to take out this high, and then I'll be sitting back and just waiting to see if we can potentially take a sell opportunity if we see that momentum change. But ideally, this is gonna have to wait until price gets to this point in the market, of course. So the other scenario is that if price continues to push lower, we will see price continue and push lower and do something like this. So again, this is something that you could look for as a alternative, so like a plan B sort of thing. So I'm thinking that if price does break this low, we could be looking at a obviously a retest at some point, but it's something just to look out for. But I won't leave that on the chart, because I'm only going to look at plan A for now. And then if we do get a price breaker structure, I'll look to update the video and give you that sort of insight where I'm heading. But yeah, pretty much this is what I'm thinking price could do. Again, at this point, it doesn't necessarily have to drop off, so I'm not saying it's going to definitely drop here. It's more of waiting for a reaction in the market here to see how price reacts, and then going with the market. So we could start off this the next week with the push to the upside, which is a good 250. So then we do have a potential move to the downside that has about 350. So there is a good reward, as I always kind of explain, that there's no point taking, for me anyway, like a 50 pip reward. I always go for a swing trade, so anything above 100 for me is worthy. But yeah, so let's take a look at now AUD USD, see how it's been rolling. So for this pair, I'm liking the way that price has been dropping off. So we'll just get rid of some of these drawings annotations. Last week, I think we did speak about price potentially dropping off. Now, I wasn't keen on selling on the top. I was waiting for a retest. So now that we can see, this is a huge strength and a huge push to the downside, which is, clear indication for me, that this could hold. We've got a break of our uptrend. So ultimately, I'm just waiting to see if we can get to 0.755 as a target. So for now, we could expect potential retracement before price makes its way to the downside. So again, it's something that we could be considering. Again, I'm not saying that price is definitely going to come to this exact point. Again, this is where you're going to have to do your own due diligence and find your own entries. But again, this is where I'll be looking for the route. And as long as we stay below this high in the market, I'm convinced that we should be still bearish. So 0.8 is our limitation for any selling opportunities. If we do push a bit higher, we could be looking at some moves to progress to the upside. But as long as we're staying below that 0.8 level, we could be targeting all these lows here to take out these levels, potentially these zones, potentially 0.075. And etc. making way. So I think that one's quite straightforward. I don't really have to go into too much detail here. Let's take a look at our next pair. So we have UJ. So UJ, I'm taking a look into this. So as you can see here, we have 107 being outlined still. So I'm getting a little bit just taking a bit of a toll on this pair. I'm just still having this bearish outlook in the market for this one, and again we're getting very close to the our zone of invalidation. So 107. So if we as long as we stay below this level in the market, again I'm more convinced that we're capable of pushing lower. So again I'll be waiting for price to make a way to the downside if it's if it does give us that capability. And potentially into 102, so something of this nature here, or within this box or so. But yeah, as long as we stay below this zone in the market, I'm convinced that we should be able to push lower. And the way that I'm seeing this is we've got the EMAs slowly, it looks like they're still bullish for now. So as long as we're seeing all these indicators show bullish momentum, we can just simply stay out of this market. And I'm not too worried if price does go above, because if it does, then we can always look for the retest of the trade and look for another entry, and that's not really a problem. Again, for me, I'm always going to stick to my buys until proven wrong. So we do have the higher time frame downtrend here. This would be on a daily / weekly level. So we're currently testing this downtrend here. So we could expect price to do maybe have a manipulation around here before we have that downside. That's why I'm thinking this way. So yeah, 107 for me is ideally the limitation for this, and if we do get a break above that, I'm going to watch for the reaction. So let's just sit back and leave this one in the background, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on it for next week, just in case we do get that turnaround. But yeah, hopefully we anticipate the move, and if we can get in, then we'll be targeting at least 102, 103. So let's take a see how price plays out next week for that pair. So yeah, let's take a look into CAD JPY. So yeah, so for this pair we was looking for a sell-off. Through the week, through last week we had a huge bull run. So for now, what I'm looking out for is price to make its way to the downside, still just to follow this momentum. So let's just see if price can do some see what it can do, really see if we can get more strength to the downside. I'm not too keen on the the long-term move if we can break all these two levels. So for now, I'm just going to take if I do manage to get into some sells, I'm just going to take a few hundred pips off the table I'm not looking to take any long-term trades just yet for this. I think that we may have the capability to push higher because of the momentum is not as strong as I'd like to have seen. You know, if we take a look at AUD USD, again, that for me is a very strong. You know, I want to see something like this before for me to hold some sort of trades or a shift in the direction, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, I'm not too entirely keen on holding any sell positions for too long. But yeah, I'm just going to take some reward off the table. And of course, if price does make its way to the downside, like I always say, you can always take the retest and then continue to hold the trades longer. So again, it's all about being adaptable to the market and not being, you know, not getting married too much towards your own trade. So again, that's something that I feel like people can definitely improve on. And yeah, we'll see how it works out for the next week. So taking a look at EJ now. I'm looking at the market here in the sense that last week we was looking for a sell-off opportunity from this high of the market, but obviously we had that huge blow off to the upside. So I think that we are in a bullish momentum, but I'm not entirely too keen on taking any sells anytime soon. I think that we could do something like this, test the high one more time, and then if so, we could potentially see price, you know, take a downfall. So again, something like this, and then that's something that I would be very interested in again for a long-term position. But again, you know, you do have all of these levels in the market to anticipate, and you've got all the potential moves. You know, there's just 100 pips here if it does manage to get to this zone, and then to the upside 100 pips. So you know, you can get some nice intraday trades here. But again, for myself, this one I would recommend if you know if price does something like this of this nature, if we do get that turnaround and if we're capable of breaking this uptrend, you know, the next stop here is, you know, if we can take out this low of the market, which will be key. So at 125 will be ideal. And again, if price is doing something of this nature, you know, this would be a very good target to take. And then if you know, that's a very good amount of pips. Actually, it's about 500, just under 500. And then you could expect a reaction. So you know, price to come back up, and then you know, this is just part of, you know, the long-term vision picture. But like I always say, just focus on the closest pairs for now. The short-term moves for now, and see how price, you know, really does go about. Take a look at how price is, you know, moving, and yeah, don't rush into things because you got all the time in the world. The markets is not going to close forever, and you know, the moves are everywhere. You just gotta stay patient and just wait for the next one. So yeah, I'm looking out for this sort of route, more so this route, and then if you know, I'll be anticipating if, you know, if we do see some rejections on this high, you know, to take some sells, and you know, we could ride it into 125 again if that's really if your, you know, if your risk appetite is up for it, then yeah, definitely take upon that. But you know, for me, I'll be securing partials or profits at any given point. So let's see what we can do with that one. So let's take a look at NZDJPY. So for me, I'm liking the signs of how price is pushing lower. I've got an alert here placed on to the upside. So for me, you know, I'm thinking price, if it's able to push higher, of course, I'm going to be looking for price to take a selling opportunity. So I've got two things here I wanted to talk about. I've got one scenario which I'm looking for, and that is for price to come in between these two levels here, and then for price to shoot up to the upside and then drop off. So again, price to push into to this zone, to then push to the upside, and then to break you know, the structure. So you know, if we extend this uptrend of the market, we'll get rid of this one because I think it's insignificant, and we can use this as a target to, you know, really take a look into the market and see if we can get to this level. So 73.5, again, very specific levels in the market, but again, it's all these turnaround levels, and you know, I'll be looking for price to have a turnaround. It doesn't have to necessarily go in between here. It can go all the way, it could, in theory, go all the way down here and then shoot all the way back up. So that's something I'm not going to disregard if price does go below these two levels. So I'll just repeat that on here, and I probably will leave this annotation on here for next week just so that we can re-look at things. But as long as price doesn't go below this low, so 73.5, we could see price then push to the high and then take up this high. So again, the lower this goes, potentially in my eyes, the more reward to the upside it has. So again, this one is just more of a stay patient and a bit more of a waiting game. But again, like you can see, that this does have a very big reward for either side. So regardless if you want to take a buy or a sell, if price does come up to here, you got a lot of pips up for grabs here. This one's going to be a very tasty opportunity to take in. So hopefully you guys can get in on this, and myself included. Again, it's all about waiting, and obviously if the turns happen, you can get in. So yeah, so we'll take a look at AUDJPY and see what I'm thinking with this one. So for me, I'm looking at this again pretty much the same way as NZDJPY. So what I'm thinking here is there is this strong sell-off in the market. I am looking for price to do something of this nature of either it's going to continue to smash down, or two, we're going to see price have a little turnaround to the upside before we have that drop off in the market, and that's something that I personally am looking out for. I'm not sure why I can't delete that. Okay, let's go. So push to the downside, and then a push to the upside, and then a push lower, so something like that. And again, it really just depends if you want to take this buy. There could be some manipulation also at this uptrend here. So price could, in theory, come to this low here, have some sort of reaction, potentially even look at retesting this level. I'm not saying it will definitely, but price could take some sort of rejection somewhere. It could do something like this. Here it could push into this. It could reject off this zone here and then push higher, or it could push lower and then find some rejection anywhere. So again, I'm not going to leave an annotation exactly where I think price is going to reject, but the idea is that I want to see price essentially turn over to the upside. And for me, for that idea to stay valid, is as long as price stays above this high in the market, so 79, so this level in the market, I think I'm quite bullish on this pair. So there's strong amount of pips, so a good 300 to the upside, and then if we're able to take a sell to this low, it's about 500. So there is a lot of reward up for grabs for, I think, ultimately a few pairs for this week or in the future. So like I said, I've clearly explained some visible opportunities for you guys to get in, and this should almost make you feel comfortable about the fear of missing out should be eliminated, because if you take a look at all of our full market analysis videos, I've explained that we've always had at least 100 pip trade ideas. Now the ideas doesn't mean that they're definitely going to happen, as you can see. Again, it's all about if you're capable to get in on those moves and put them into fruition. Now you probably say out of every 20 or say every 10 ideas, it may mean that you only get one. Now that doesn't mean your analysis is bad. It just means that your criteria, or potentially the psychological aspect. There's a lot of variables, but there's a lot of ways that influences you to take a sell and to take a buy, and to get into those trades. And it's all about staying calm with whatever the outcome is. So for me personally, that's how I'm personally able to stay positive with the market, even if I don't manage to get in on a trade through the week or through the day. So again, it's something that you're gonna definitely have to work on if you still struggle with fear of missing out. So yeah, like I said, always happy to give some advice here and there. So taking a look at USD Chef, so what we can see here. So what I was looking out for was, well, previously was more sell-off opportunity, but now we're seeing price step up. And as we can see, price has broken this level, so 0.9. So I'm still anticipating price to still shift to the downside. So as price is making its way to the upside, I'm thinking price could do something like this. So let's take, well, let's actually get rid of this. Let's see. So as we're stepping up, I'm going to be taking those continuation trades to the upside. So ultimately waiting for price to turn around. I'm not saying price will turn around from this point exactly. Like I always say, expected price to turn around and then push up. And then once it does, I'm looking for price to then take that sell-off opportunity. And again, it's totally up to you guys if you want to take that buy here or the sell. I'll be trying to take both here, purely because in case price does continue to break higher than our level here at 0.93, but as long as price, gives us those setups and continuates higher, I'll personally be carrying on taking a buy. And then if we're capable of breaking the structure higher, or wherever this turnarounds, so let's say, for example, it was that turnaround point here. So this is the new high, let's say, and price creates that low, and then we get that shift to the upside. I'll be waiting for see how price reacts again, like I always say, to the high. And if we get that strong confirmation that we're pushing on, then I'll hold on to this buy. But if not, then we'll take that sell and we'll hedge our trade and see whichever one plays out. But obviously, this is in the ideal situation, an ideal world. If we can get in onto those two pairs, obviously a different story. So, this is something like a little game plan that I'm thinking about in my head, just see how it all plays out. But let's just see, obviously, if it comes to fruition, it comes to fruition. If it doesn't, obviously, it's another story. Yeah, we'll just see how it reacts over in the week. So the final pair for today's video, USD CAD. So what I was mentioning last week was 1.26 to hold, and I was actually looking out for this move to the upside just to see if we can get in. Price never really gave us that opportunity, so price continued to step in. Now I'm waiting for price to step up, and look at how strong this is. So taking adjustments to the trends now. So let's adjust this downtrend. We can now place this low here in the market. So if we just go here, cool. So now I've got an alert set based here. So now we can see price stepping up. All we have to do now, essentially, to ride this, like I've always said, that I'm bullish on this pair still. I'm just waiting for that correct opportunity. So as we can see price stepping up, price could make a one push higher before we get a retracement, and then something of that nature could happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a retracement, because it obviously does need one. But if we can get in along the way at some point, you could see price ride up to 1.31. I wouldn't be surprised if price does do something of this nature. And it's pretty cool to see this run out. And if it does play, then there'll be a lot of pips up for grabs here. So again, like I said last week, I know 1.26 didn't hold, but again, like I said, I gave you some levels to think about. And if price didn't go if price did go below 1.26, I would have recommended you to take out. And obviously, as you can see, 1.26 price did make it a sharp reversal, so you obviously have been 100 pips down if you did hold on to that. Now mentally, that probably would have taken some toll onto your mindset. Again, it really just depends on your risk appetite, but luckily it turned around. So now we've got a new level at 1.245, let's just say, and we can use this now as our next level of a barrier. So as long as price stays below stays above 1.245, we should be able to see price push higher into 1.31. So essentially that will be all for us for this week. Hopefully we can start to see some good turnarounds into the market. There is some good opportunities coming into play, so obviously if you do want to join our trading group, that link is in the description. If you have any other questions, of course, I'm more than happy to help. And again, I do appreciate your time for watching our video. So thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you all in our next video.